Alrighty, we're going to load up to live on Facebook from Zoom. And I'll be sharing it on my timeline. And then from there, we can share it to groups and pages, and you all can share it to all the people that you know. This is the Summer Online Learning Village Experience with Melanie Harwood and Denise Meisner. Earlier today, we met with Steve Beckles-Aboussier, and that was a very great video. I learned a ton. And right now, we're going to be talking about the Solve Mega Page. This will show you everything that we are offering this summer, and it also will show you some freebies that you can get along the way as you scroll through the page. So we're going live on Facebook in a few seconds once we finish buffering, and then take it from here, Mel.
Good afternoon, everybody. It's been an absolute humdinger, zinger of a day. I am Melanie Harwood, and Denise Meisner is joining me. Now we're both, you'll see me, I'm denoted as Melanie, and Denise is denoted as Melanie Harwood as well. It's just because we're using the same Zoom account. This is Denise Meisner. She's an occupational therapist and an autism specialist, and I am an education specialist. I started out a few years ago. I created a handwriting scheme for my own daughter, which became a pretty big deal, which spread out to lots and lots of schools throughout the United Kingdom, and it's now spreading to schools throughout the world. But it was one thing to have a handwriting scheme, but the most important thing for me was to have an assessment to find out what the barriers to learning to write well were for my daughter. And I wanted hard evidence, data, to show the baseline where she started and the follow-on where she went to. And I was very, very lucky. I was turned down. I applied for funding it was with Startby Handwriting, Hertfordshire University, and I was turned down. We applied for education endowment funding, and they said no. And it was one of the worst things in the world at the time. But I just thought, you know what, I'm going to make this anyway. So I created the handwriting match fit assessment, and I was ever so lucky because incredible teachers and head teachers and Ofsted inspectors all joined me on this one mission to turn this into something incredible. And it became a teacher training, inset training. And then Denise Meisner came into my life, and she said, we're going to turn this into an online training. And I was like, no, my life is good. My life is good. I've got schools. I've got places to go. And she said, no, it's not going to happen. And Denise kept sending me these messages on my phone for about a year. And I thought, what is Denise sending me? Why? What has this got to do with me? I don't want to know any of this stuff. And then she sent me a message about it was about 2 years ago, I think. She sent me this message saying, you have to go to Toronto next week. I was like, why? And I don't know why, but something happened. And I saw this link and I thought, yes, I'm going to go to Toronto. Denise says, go to Toronto. So I went to Toronto. And I had an amazing time. And I went and I did a 3-day training event, live event with Stu McLaren. And it completely transformed my entire world. I came back and I said to Denise, you are so right. We can change lives on a mega scale. So we spent just over 2 years together building the home learning equivalent of all of our programs. Everything that Denise and I were already delivering in schools, we started converting those into homeschooling and additional learning with a twist. Because what we wanted to do was we wanted to train parents and carers and teachers and tutors how to run their own businesses, use our programs, our courses to make money. And that's what we've been doing the last sort of year and a half. Then we had a bit of a diversion Denise and I created the Climate Change Teacher Course, and we partnered with the United Nations. And what we learned from that was how to launch a viral campaign, for want of a better word. Our remit from the UN was to launch to just 80 schools in the United Kingdom, just to trial our Climate Change Teacher Course with those 80 schools. And it went viral. It went to 329,000 schools in more than 40 countries. And it was a huge success, but we learned so much on the way. And the main thing that we took away from our Educate Global project was support, was being with our members 24/7 and building a support system that would not only guide them through the training, but give them deep dives, give them the content, give them everything they needed to take it and develop it and become absolutely awesome delivering those climate change and sustainability lessons. Then COVID-19 came along. And Denise and I took some time out to create the Summer Online Learning Village experience. We have been working like Trojans behind the scenes. Denise has been, I don't know where she has found the power and the fire and the passion and the love. Everything that she has poured into the Summer Online Learning Village experience. And the reason we called it Solve is because we know that it takes a village to raise a child. So it is the Summer Online Learning Village experience. Now, I'm going to introduce all of you to the amazing, the one and only, the genius of genius, occupational therapist and autism specialist extraordinaire, Denise Meisner.
Hello, and I'm not even sure if you can see my photo on the screen because we're still learning all the technical issues. However, you'll see me anyway later on when I post this, and please feel free to share this video everywhere. And I am a mom of a child with autism. I am an American living in the United Kingdom, and that's how I was able to meet Melanie, because our stars aligned, thank goodness. And I am super excited because a lot of the research and soul search that has gone in over the past 20 years that I've done with my son has met this point in time where we are here during a pandemic, where skills that we had in the early days are now not going to be strong enough for the days that we are in right now and days of new normal or after. I don't know if the pandemic will ever be an after, but in the meantime, because schools are closing, possibly reopening with a lot of restrictions and regulations and stress, we are offering the Solve membership because we want your children and you to be able to enjoy learning despite the pandemic.
Yes.
This is a great time when you're home and able to give more undivided attention to your children. And this means that things that are around your house can now become very therapeutic and fun. Things that you may have taken for granted earlier may now be front and center. So without further ado, shall we go down this page? We have a lot of things that are offered within the Summer Online Learning Village Experience membership. And as we show you all of our offerings, just take note that there are freebies that you can have as resources to give you an idea of what we're all about, how we can help you, and things that you can take and you can use today to just kind of get some traction in some positive direction. I'm going to scroll down and let Melanie talk about each section. Are you ready?
Let's go for it. Let's go.
Let's go. You want to kind of give us an idea how we started?
It was just interesting. When we had lockdown, we had lots and lots of parents getting in touch with us and teachers as well saying, how do we assess our children? So these were teachers asking how to assess their own children. So it was the handwriting Matchfit assessment. And we said, well, you can do this training yourself. It's all there. We filmed it being delivered with Fiona Cowan, with a cluster of schools, teachers from literacy leads from a group of schools in Derbyshire. And we also then showed them how to mark the assessments. And we've got a little girl, a peer-to-peer teacher, which is my daughter, Hannah Jane, asking the children, guiding them through the assessment process. We had so many parents, so many teachers, so many professionals messaging us and Zooming us and asking us, how do we do this? All of a sudden, we've been expected to become homeschoolers and work from home. And we're worried about certain things. We're noticing that our children are struggling with the basics of handwriting. We didn't even know this. Our teachers in school hadn't told us. So what was happening was I was giving them the Matchfit assessment online. And I said, right, what you're going to do is you're just going to film your child at certain points in the assessment and take photographs for me. You're going to take screenshots of the completed assessment, upload those to me, and I'm going to mark them. Now, it takes me about 2 to 3 minutes to mark each one. It should not take you long to be able to do that. But the most incredible part is that I was able to instantly see if a child had DCD, if they had visual stress, if they had hypermobility, what those issues were. And that was when I said to Denise, look, we need to know, are we live?
I have a feeling we are not.
I have a feeling we are not.
I'm not even sure why my picture isn't in there.
I don't know.
That was a dry run.
Are we live on Facebook?
But
Maybe we're live on that Facebook and not on this one. We've got two open. We are live, Denise.
Oh, sometimes I just want to crawl.
Do you want to close that one? Close that one on the left.
Okay,
I'll go live on Facebook.
Okay, we're live. Keep going, Mel. Just double checking.
So do we start again, Denise? Do we start from the beginning?
We can. Just start from right here.
So the reason that we created Solve was that at the beginning of lockdown, a lot of parents were getting in touch with us. Teachers were getting in touch with us, saying, we've noticed now that we have to be homeschooling our children, we're suddenly noticing that our children are struggling with handwriting and we don't know what to do. So can you please tell us how to do this? So we said, okay, well, let's quickly assess your child live online, do a Zoom. I'm going to send you the Matchfit assessment booklet. I'm going to give you the instructions with Hannah Jane, delivering the instructions on live on screen. And then we said, take photographs of your child holding the pencil, completing the assessment, take screenshots of the assessment itself, upload them to us online, and let's have a look at them. And we were suddenly noticing that there were so many children with spatial awareness issues, dyspraxia, children with all sorts of strange pencil grips. And we were just saying to the parents, look, you've got this. This is so simple to fix. Here's the program. Here's our Start Be Handwriting at Home. Try this one. We recommend catch up, or we recommend beginners, or we recommend top up. And then it was Denise Meisner who said to me, Mel, we want to have a bigger impact on the world. We want to make sure that we can uplift parents and carers. We don't just want to be delivering online programs. We want to actually, there's so many people that are losing their jobs. Can we not train them to do many of these programs to become the handwriting specialist themselves, that they can go and be the handwriting tutors? They can use our programs. We can show them the kits to use, and they can then go and make money as private tutors or running their own after school clubs or their own holiday clubs. And I don't know, it was a germination of an idea. And Denise just poured all of her energy into Solve. So Solve is called the Summer Online Learning Village Experience, because we know that it takes a village to raise a child. Now, something interesting happened with Denise and I over the last 2 years. Denise approached me quite a while back and said, I want you to start doing this online training. And I said, no, I'm really busy. I'm in all these schools. I'm delivering this handwriting assessment training to teachers. I'm traveling all over the country. And she said, well, it's not enough. What you're doing is not enough. And I was like, it's not enough? What do you mean it's not enough? I'm everywhere. I'm tired. And she said, well, that's the point. I want you to go and learn how to do this online. And I said, I don't understand. I'm not sure. And Denise sent me these messages on my phone. I was getting these little WhatsApp trainings. And then she said, you have to go to Toronto. I said, why do I need to go to Toronto, Denise? She said, there's a man there that's going to teach you what you need to know. Anyway, I went to Toronto for a few days and I did this incredible live event. It was just mind-blowing. And I saw the light and I came back and I said, right, Denise, I understand we need to create online membership, online training for our parents, carers, for our teachers. And that was the beginning of our journey. And Denise and I then created a training course for teachers. We partnered with the United Nations, as one does. And Denise and I went over to Geneva and we met over 4 days. We pitched to these 35 UN agencies. And I thought they're going to tell us to go away, but they didn't. And they said, okay, well, you know, you've got this great idea. Do you want to trial it in 80 schools in the United Kingdom? So we were like, yeah, we'd love to do that. So off we went and we created the very first climate change teacher course and it went viral. It went into 329,000 schools in more than 40 countries. But boy, did we learn. We learned that you couldn't just give somebody an online course. There was no point. You had to provide guidance, support, love, emotional support, extra guidance, extra support. It was like a huge trial by fire for us because everything was going at once. Our WhatsApp, our direct messages, our Twitter, our Facebook, and then we learned that we had to have a support system because it's all well and good having an online course or an online membership. I mean, Denise and I have done that ourselves. But when there's no one there to actually do that deep dive with you, to guide you through that course, you just don't do it. You don't engage. So one of the things we decided to do with Solve is to provide all of the programs within it that we've created or we've curated, and we've also partnered with other incredible developers. And we provide the actual creators and developers of those programs and the specialists to support them. So the first 8 weeks of Solve, once it starts, we will be having deep dives every week. All of them will be recorded. So if you miss one, you can go back and refer to it over the course of the rest of the year. And of course, then our team and ourselves will all be there to provide support and guidance for you throughout the year. I'm going to introduce you to Denise Meisner. She is the one and only. She's an occupational therapist. She's an autism specialist. And Denise, everything that you see here with Solve is Denise's, her passion, her love, her kindness and her care. She built every one of these pages. I don't know how. I'd still like her to teach me, but this is what she did. She said to me, this is what we're going to do. And I think she's just taken me along the crest of her wave. So I'm going to introduce you to Denise, and she's going to explain what Solve is about, why we're doing this, and how you too can either earn to learn or learn to earn with us, or how you can become an affiliate and become an influencer and refer your friends to it. there are so many possibilities with Solve, and we can't wait to enjoy this with everybody. So here is Denise Meisner.
Thank you, Mel. Can you hear me?
I can hear you.
Alrighty. This page is proof that power partnerships work. I could never have learned and done this and survived this on my own. It was because I knew Mel was always in my corner, always just a phone away, with whether WhatsApp or Skype or Messenger, whatever, all hours of the day and night. And we both have the same mission to support parents, teachers, carers, grandparents, because we need to close the gap between those people who have a ton and those people who have none. Because with my son with autism and her daughter with her learning challenges early on, there are just, it's obvious to us that if we don't make curriculum and life opportunities available to everyone, that's where you get the tension between those who have a ton and those who have none. And that's why you see protests and rallies and Me Too movements and all kinds of examples of how if a problem isn't solved, you're not going to be able to move past it. So we said in one of the other videos that if we hear someone crying, we will be replying. And we heard teachers and parents and carers. And so this is our answer, but it's not a stagnant answer. It's an ever evolving answer, just like my tech skills are ever evolving. I still make mistakes, probably make one right now. So it's okay to enjoy this page. We have freebies. So for example, when you're getting this link, you can scroll up to these little yellow.
So this is telling us that your internet connection is unstable, Denise. I think you've got a bit of a link there. Denise is in Swansea.
Yeah.
And I'm not sure if you can see you or if it can see me.
It's probably me, because I think my husband is on the line as well. Can you see me at all? Can you see anything? Oh, golly jeepers.
Hi, Denise, I'm back.
Are you back? Okay. Well, it is what it is, as we're known to say. We could always...
I think that everybody's been having an amazing experience with Zoom. Some people have been tearing their hair out. Some people have just absolutely rolled with it. But I think you get Zoom overwhelm, absolutely.
Okay, so we're just going to go through, and if we have to redo it, we'll redo it. So the first square that you'll see is about the Mini Bees pre-handwriting program. And all you do is you click on these images for each product, and then you're taken to another information page that tells you exactly about that particular product. And then from that information page, you'll be able to come back to this one or directly purchase the Solve membership right there and then. So tell us a little bit about the Mini Bees pre-handwriting.
So Mini Bees was created because, as I said earlier, we created Start Bee handwriting, Denise. And we kept finding with the handwriting match fit assessment, it didn't matter where we were in the world. It didn't matter which type of school it was. Didn't matter if it was outstanding, Ofsted outstanding, good, requires improvement in special measures. It made absolutely no difference whatsoever. We found that the baseline data was always the same, and we had far too many children with incredibly poor fine and gross motor skills and core stamina. So I was very lucky. I worked with a lady called Fiona Count. She's a head teacher of more than 20 years experience. She really knows her stuff, and she oversees a cluster of schools in Derbyshire. And I said, please, can we create something that if parents did this or schools did this, we wouldn't need to do Start Bee, if these children were prepared. So we built, it's a 10-week program, 5 lessons in each week. And Fiona is going to be doing a deep dive with yourself and Emma Jeffries, who's an occupational therapist, and myself, at least once a week throughout the first 8 weeks when we start with Solve. And we will be going through why we've done particular lessons and exercises in each week. We'll be doing a member makeover, so parents can send us their questions, and we will choose one lucky member each week, and we will go through what the issues are with that child. We will do an early years assessment with them, and we will also guide parents through the process of assessing their children themselves. It is so easy, and there's a masterclass with it as well. I would love for nothing more than for mums and dads, carers, grandparents, to use what we are teaching them and to go and make money with it. That would just be the best ever. They could run their own mini bees clubs, after school holiday clubs, included with their handwriting clubs. That would be amazing. I'm going to go back to you, Denise.
So there are so many ways that getting your child ready for handwriting is important, because you're laying the foundation skills. Just like crawling leads to walking, and crawling even leads to the other skills involved in reading and learning. Even in the digital age, we still use the pen on the computer. We also need our excellent skills from handwriting for keyboarding, for memory, for critical thinking. And in my case, it would have helped me a lot with my math skills. And even if I did have my math skills, my handwriting was so bad that I actually couldn't read what I was calculating. And then my errors weren't because of math, it was because I couldn't read what I had written. And my teachers, poor things, they couldn't read it either.
It's interesting though, Janice, when you start working with this subject, you start seeing what barriers to learning to write are, and those barriers then, they keep coming up. If you don't negate them from the beginning, they will trip your child up in the future. So what you want to do is you want to get to the nub of the issue right from the beginning when they're very young. Find out, do they have a spatial awareness issue? Because you can sort it out, you can negate it, you can fix it. It's easy.
And we also talked about that in the other video, where we mentioned the sooner you mitigate issues for learning, it's the same as mitigating the early signs of COVID-19. It's the same as getting the early signs of climate change under control and getting people to wake up, shift gears, move forward. So during a pandemic, it's not that you're in a pandemic, it's what you do while you're in a pandemic that counts. So we've been working on these programs for years and getting data from thousands of students across the UK, and we've even gone into the United States. And so these are not just things thrown together in 5 days when the pandemic shut everything down. These are things that have been developed over quite a bit of time with a lot of love and effort. So one of the spin-offs with Mini Bees was Successful Scissors, right?
Yeah, that was one thing that we kept finding, that occupational therapists, Emma Jeffrey was one of those. She trains all the Senkos in the state of Florida for a group of private schools. And scissors was something really, really important. We noticed that so many children were in school unable to cut, and we just said, right. I think the light bulb moment for me was when I met a surgeon, a top surgeon, and he said, we've got these incredible doctors coming through, but they can't operate. I said, what are you talking about? And he said, they just don't have the fine motor skills. And I said, what? And he said, yeah. He said, we've missed out the step. And I said, oh, we just need to get them on Successful Scissors. Once we start building those skills, it's tearing paper, ripping, getting those muscles and fingers really strong. And that was what Fiona Cowan did. She said, right, we're going to add in Mini Bees Successful Scissors. Because she said, that's something that we're seeing in our own school We want to make sure that these children are adept, are confident, that they can pick up those scissors and cut out that page, do what they want to do. It's a skill. Believe it or not, we want your children to become little surgeons. We want them to have those incredible fine motor skills.
All righty. So luckily, each session is professionally filmed because you and John filmed them. You know, you all have that experience and that background, and we're able to bring it to the education realm.
Yeah, so we filmed Hannah Jane and a little boy called Arben. Arben was 4 years old at the time. He is Fiona Cowan's son. And Hannah Jane was 9 years old when we filmed Mini Bees. It's always better for a child to learn from a child. That age-appropriate peer-to-peer learning. It's the frequency of a child's voice getting across the message, and it's comforting to a child. There's no pressure. Psychologically, it's he can do it, she can do it, I can do it. You know, if it's an adult saying, oh, it doesn't make sense. You know, a child would rather learn from a child. So that's what all of Mini Bees is delivered by Hannah Jane and Arben. Just like all of our Start Bee handwriting lessons are delivered by Hannah Jane. We started filming Hannah Jane when she was 5 years old, right up until now that she's 12, going on 13. So she's filmed hundreds and hundreds of lessons. And don't forget, she's already teaching hundreds of thousands of children to write in schools every 30 minutes of the school day, all over the place. So, but these programs are specifically now available directly to parents. So
and do you need to have a big, powerful computer, or can you get it from any device?
You can even get everything on your phone. You can do it on your phone, on your smart pad, on your laptop. You can anywhere. All of these programs, you built them, you rebuilt everything. It was you that said, we need to make sure that our members can access everything on their phones. And you went and you found us an amazing software that I still don't know how you went and learned how to do all this, but that's your genius. But you can access these lessons on your phone, on your smart pad, I can even play these lessons on my smart TV. So
I love that you can cast it to a device and then you can watch it on a TV. I think that's awesome.
Yeah.
So tell us a little bit more about the handwriting match fit assessment masterclass.
So what happened, Denise, when we created Start Bee Handwriting, we wanted to be able to prove that we had the evidence, the hard evidence to show the baseline data, so what the child's entry point was, and within a year, what their follow-on data. We had to prove, did we actually make a difference? Did our method work? Because our method was so unique. I think some people must have thought we were absolutely crazy, but our method is so unique, with a child delivering the instructions to children with specific step-by-step exercises that we created for them. Now, Fiona Cowan, we delivered this training to all of her teachers, and then she said, Mel, I want to deliver this to my cluster of schools. So we filmed Fiona delivering the training to a cluster of 11 schools, and we turned that into an inset training for teachers. And we also added all of the other training of how to mark the assessments, what to look out for, the instructions. Now, the instructions for the assessments are delivered by Hannah Jane to children. So you've got the assessment booklet in your kit. You've got Hannah Jane guiding you through. Everything is there. But Fiona then went 10 steps further, as she does. And now don't forget, she's a head teacher with more than 20 years experience. And she said, I would like to include an early years assessment training. So she said, I want to be able to teach parents, carers, tutors, grandparents, family members, how to know the milestones that their child should be achieving in certain age ranges. so that in case anything ever happens, they can notice and think, you know what, I've done this training. My child is still tippy-toeing by the age of 9. Something is wrong. I need to go to my health visitor or my GP. And that's what she wanted to add. So Fiona built the early years assessment training, and I developed the handwriting Matchfit assessment training, and we put the two together. So you've got 2 masterclasses there. You've got one is how to become a handwriting specialist like me, and the other one is how to become an early years specialist, how to assess those potential issues that may pop up that you will need to know to go and get them sorted with your child. I would love for nothing more than for parents to do this training, for teachers and tutors, because they can make money out of it. They can actually go and deliver that as training and assessment to schools or to families or to anybody. I mean, I used to go, I would charge easy £1,000 a day just to go and do a handwriting Matchfit assessment in one school. There's no reason why mums and dads or, you know, teachers can't learn the skill and go and charge schools or charge centers to do this as well. It's all there. It's all there for you, and I want you to learn from it. It works. It is the only handwriting assessment training of its kind in the world, and it is the only handwriting Matchfit assessment of its kind in the world. And we have the evidence from more than 11,000 children, hundreds of schools. They use this assessment every year to deliver they put it together to create a school-wide handwriting strategy. But you can assess one child and you can create their very own personal handwriting strategy for the rest of the year. There's nothing like it. And I'm not saying that because I created it. It's absolutely, it's beautiful. There's nothing, it's the best. You know, as a parent, you want to know what the barriers to learning are for your child, if there are any, so that you can negate them. And anybody can do it. Anybody.
And it's nice to be able to control what you can control. And this is one thing you can control. You can control the choice of doing the assessment and identifying what needs to be worked on and celebrate all the little milestones. Absolutely. Which leads us to our next section.
Oh, there's Alan.
Yep.
That is mini readers. Now, we created a program. It was all as a result of our climate change teacher course. The teachers kept coming back and saying, you know, the children are suffering from eco-anxiety. We don't know the wording. How do we discuss climate change and sustainability with very little children? And we met with Alan J. Hesse, who is a world-renowned conservationist and environmentalist, but he's also an illustrator and an author of children's comics. And we asked Alan if we would be able to partner with him and to use his books and his stories to create an idea that was in my head. So I like to think in visually, I think in pictures, so that's how I like to look at things. And we took Alan's stories and we created animated versions of his stories. And then Fiona Cowan created lesson plans for teachers, and she created projects and all sorts of work-based items. Now, we were trialing mini readers in a cluster of schools before COVID-19, and then COVID-19 kicked in. And Fiona approached me and said, we don't want to lose the momentum that we've got going here. Would you mind making this available to our parents? Can we trial this with our parents? And we trialed it with 104 families in Derbyshire. And then Fiona tweaked the lesson plans into information documents for parents and carers. And she created these incredible projects, these daily projects. And then we were very, very lucky. We were approached by World Peace Day and they said, would you mind if we become a partner with Mini Readers? And that's what we did. So we've included some beautiful home projects from World Peace Day within Mini Readers. And now Mini Readers is going to be available exclusively to these in Solve. It's only ever been delivered as part of Educate Global, which is our other, it's our school membership. It's our global membership with lots of schools around the world that are doing our sustainability and climate change training. But for the first time, Mini Readers will be available to all of our families that sign up for Solve. It's an absolutely incredible program. I keep saying there's nothing else like it, but there isn't. There isn't. It's an amazing, Fiona Cowan created all the lesson plans. Alan created all the stories, and children love them. I mean, my own daughter is 12 years old, and she had a science project, and she said, I'm really looking for some inspiration, and I don't understand about desertification. So I said, well, why don't you go and do the Mini Readers story? I think it was one of the stories about Egypt. And I said, go and have a look at that one. And she was so empowered by it that she said, I loved working through that. I now want to go and do the UN course, the Cities and Climate Change course. How do I do that? And I said, okay. So we've included so much in Solve. I mean, you've got Mini Readers. We will even be guiding your older children through, they can do one of the 5 or 6 UN courses, and we will be supporting them through that. So your child could finish at the end of the year with a UN accredited certificate as well. But Mini Readers will engage your children. It will help you explain the language of sustainability and climate change. And it isn't frightening. It doesn't scare children. And then Fiona Cowan created a climate change in the classroom inset training. And we are going to be making that available to parents, to the members of Solve. And the reason that we did this was that the teachers came back to us, our Educate Global teachers, and said, we've done all these UN courses, but we still are at a loss. How do we teach climate change to very little children? And Fiona said, aha, I know how. And she created this inset training. She's delivered it to a cluster of schools. We filmed it, and that's what we have. So nobody else would have had access to this course. This is exclusive to Solve, and parents are going to love this, to be able to know the language that they should be using, how to negate eco-anxiety, how to discuss these pretty heavy subjects with their children, and what to work on to make things better, how to be more sustainable, how that change begins with them. I mean, I've learned a huge amount from it.
One thing we learned from working with the UN and with Fiona and with Alan is that every child is now going to spend their entire lifetime in the era of climate change, or at least the protection of the planet era. We can do what we can to at least be good citizens and just, tidy your room, tidy your community, tidy your planet.
Yeah. I mean, there was something on the radio this morning, and they said that within 5 years, we will hit that 1.5 degrees. So we need to ensure that our children really understand how to make a difference. We have to. We also have a free board game, don't we, Denise? We've got a free board game. Alan J. Hesse made us an amazing downloadable board game. And you can sign up and get that as a free resource from us. And you can cut it out, the children cut it out and glue it on a big piece of cardboard, and they can play this game. It is brilliant. They're going to love it.
And we love that hands-on activity, because it also works on your fine motor skills, just making the game.
Yeah, I loved it. I love the fact that we've got all the cutting and the pasting. And then what we've got here is we've got our Start B handwriting. This is our handwriting for beginners. Now, every Solve member is going to get one of these handwriting kits. They will actually get a one-to-one handwriting kit delivered to their delivery address with the handwriting Matchfit assessment booklets in it. And we will be doing that assessment with you before Solve kicks off properly in July. So Solve begins, we open the doors to Solve on the 20th of July. That's when all of our lessons start. Our programs begin from the 20th of July. Now, handwriting for beginners is used in schools throughout the United Kingdom, and it's now being used in schools around the world. And it is a specific step-by-step program to develop children's ability to write well. We start with the handwriting pattern exercises. Hannah Jane is the little child. She's 4 or 5 years old, and she's on the screen, on your phone, on your iPad, delivering these lessons to your children. And we then move from patterns, we move up to lowercase letters. There she is on the screen. That's how old she was when she started. She had no teeth. And we work them through lowercase letters, then uppercase letters. And once we've done those, then we move your child up to all joined up. So it's a clear, demarcated, step-by-step, easy to follow handwriting program. And the teacher is a child. So you don't have to worry. We don't just give you lesson plans or exercises. We actually have a tutor that is guiding your child through the process with you.
And I love that it includes songs. You know, it's not just a worksheet. There's singing involved. Very simple songs, but anything to get the oxygen flowing to the brain and getting people excited and motivated.
Well, we had to figure out a way, you know, pencil grip. We were noticing when we were doing the assessment that so many children were holding a pencil as if it was a banana. So I'll just get a pen here. So if I take this pen, we had a lot of children holding a pen like that. And we just said, it's known as a palmer grip or a banana grip. And that's just not going to help them with legibility and speed. Or we had children holding the pencil like this or like that, or they were doing this, or we had these thumbs crossing over. And we just said, look, we need to create a song. So we created the pencil grip song, and they hold their thumb up to the sky, cross their pencil to the side, put the pencil in between. And by singing the song along with Hannah Jane, they get it. It becomes embedded. So we've included a lot of these embedded messages throughout the lessons. So Hannah Jane will constantly say, sit up straight, shoulders back, both feet on the floor, strong supporting hand. So, and they remember. If you or I, if an adult kept saying that to a child, they would just go, oh, when is she going to keep quiet? But because it's a child, it doesn't bother them. They love it. It becomes embedded in those lovely brains. So we also give them the handwriting catch-up program. So we will be able to assess your children. We'll find out what the issues are. We're going to do one massive online handwriting Matchfit assessment. You are going to take photographs of your child's, how they hold the pencil. You're going to film them drawing a line for us. You're going to take screenshots of the completed assessment booklets and upload them for us to an online form. And Denise and I and a team of occupational therapists and teachers are going to mark those assessments. And we will give each child their very own personal handwriting strategy. And we will know whether your child needs the beginner program, the catch-up program, or the top-up revision program.
Let's scroll down to the next one then.
That's our top-up revision program. That's for older children that we just want to get their legibility right. It's Hannah Jane guiding them through specific exercises to get their legibility, the so that you can read their handwriting. We just get so many children that they get to year 5 and 6. We can't read what they're writing. And these are very bright, articulate children, and they're losing out on their marks on those tests because we can't read it. So we can't mark it. If we could read the handwriting, it just raises their attainment. And when you can write well, you can access all of the school curriculum with ease. You don't have to be thinking about, it's like driving a car, isn't it? You have to think like, oh, I'm going to put it into first gear, oh, I'm going to put the clutch in, oh, now I'm going to pull the clutch out. It becomes automatic. It becomes a subconscious thing, and they just write. So that all of the creative stuff that's in their brain can then just, those creative juices can just flow naturally, and they can get their ideas out. And we see so many children that are so frustrated with the sheer anxiety, and they get rage like, oh, I just want to be able to get this out and I just can't do it. It's a mechanical skill, it's a process. And as soon as you teach them to write, wow, it's like a rocket has just taken off.
It's also a relief to the parents because that's one less battle to do. And my son with autism, it was, handwriting was a far-fetched dream. And then that plus his high anxiety, once he started to get his paper and pencil connected and his thoughts, because he had a lot of ideas, he couldn't always speak them, but he could at least start scribbling on paper, and the act of moving his pencil or his marker or his crayon or his paintbrush, anything he could get a hold of, he just made piles and piles and piles of paper afterwards. And we had to recycle a whole bunch, but I've saved his most important ones. And all of a sudden the light bulb went off. And even though he has so many developmental challenges and language disorder issues and anxiety issues, once he started handwriting, even in his own way, he just felt relief. And then that's saved his energy for other things, like he had to take a shower. But if he had to take a shower and deal with his anxiety for having stuff in his head that he couldn't get out, that just makes for a really long day. So now that we're
I mean, I've watched your son, Adam. He comes with those lists, and I just think, I wonder when you were a very little boy, that if anybody could just see you now, that you are, and he comes and he goes, Melanie, I've got this list. This is what's on my list. And I just think, isn't that so cool? That you can get your ideas down. You can write it. I mean, do you know, so many children and even adults, we're journaling more. It's all about mindfulness and getting our thoughts down and our feelings, and
because you actually process solutions when you're writing.
Do you know, I was interviewed by Sky News, and the gentleman, the interviewer said, we no longer need handwriting. And I said to him, I find it really interesting you say that, holding a pen in your hand. We're all writing. If you can't write, what have you got? Who are you?
And how many inventions have been scribbled on a napkin at dinner or at lunch, and then they've turned into amazing innovations that we've all needed and used in our lives?
I mean, you only have to look at the latest iPads and smart pads. There's a pencil. They had to. The demand was there to create a smart pad that you could write on. The demand was there. So if anybody says to me, we're not going to be writing anymore, I'll go, go figure. Do you know what? If somebody said to me, we don't need to write anymore, I would say to them, okay, then what we'll do is let's leave your child out, and then your child doesn't have to learn to write, but we'll make sure that all the other children in their class learn to write. You'll very, very quickly see that they'll go, oh no, you've got to be writing. You can't. You have to be able to access the curriculum. You've got to be able to write well. You've got to be legible and fluent and confident. It's a life skill. It's like riding a bike. It's like baking, driving a car, learning how to tie your shoelaces.
Tell us about the all joined up, why that is so important.
Okay, all joined up is what, when you've worked through the patterns, lowercase and uppercase letters, because we focus on the entry and exit stroke of every letter, children then will start automatically wanting to join those letters. They want to have a flow, a fluidity. We don't advocate that you start with joining first. You've got to first have really solid foundations. Your patterns have to be in place, your entry and exit strokes of every letter, lowercase letter, uppercase letter. Once you've got those in place, we then guide your children through these all joined up exercises, and job done. Best ever.
And what I love about the next one, Music with Hannah Jane.
But this is because
What's that?
You chose, you know, we didn't have, the clue was not, Music with Hannah Jane was not going to be like this. It was because of you.
Everything ties together, and the beauty of having a child with autism, or you know, we got lucky because I was able to see the challenge as our ticket to meeting people who are terrific. I was able to meet musicians, I was able to meet head teachers, home trainers, diagnosticians. Everyone brought something to the table, whether it is my son's table at school or our table at our house. They've come to our home visits or field trips. And music is a huge part of integrating your brain and getting your brain cells to grow and develop and connect. So, and oxygen is flowing when you're singing. It's releasing your feel-good hormones in your brain. So we just kind of had to do this.
I mean, we started, the reason that we recorded these songs was a few years ago when Hannah Jane was very little. She was about 9 years old. I was very concerned about the songs that were playing on TV and on the radio. I was really concerned about the lyrics were so angry and misogynistic, and there were swear words, and I just thought, this is not for a little child of 9, any child to be listening to. I don't want that to become what their thought process is. It was really bad. And I didn't like the videos either. I just thought, I just couldn't stand watching. I don't know. I just thought, no, this is not good for children. So I contacted friends of mine who were world-renowned, well, award-winning songwriters and producers. They produced most of the hits for Kylie Minogue and Rick Astley, top artists. And I said, can you write songs that are clean and positive for children? And they said, oh, we've got some ideas. And Hannah Jane went down and met them, and they loved her, and she recorded an album of songs. There were other songwriters that approached us, and we included 2 other songs. One is a guy called Marcus, and he's got a beautiful song called I Like the World. And Pete Booker and Rob Eyre are the main group. They're the main songwriters and producers for Hannah Jane. They are just out of this world amazing. And it was you that said, I said, oh, well, what we'll do is we'll get a lyrics video. And then you were the one who said, can we not use these lyrics as positive affirmations? And I hadn't even thought of that. And that's what we did. We took the screenshots of these lyrics videos that we created for each song, and we turned them into downloadable positive affirmations. Each and every song is incredible. They are empowering. You can watch the videos, you can sing along with Hannah Jane, and you can also use those powerful positive affirmations to recover, especially now that we've gone through this lockdown and a lot of our children have suffered a sense of loss. So to feel empowered, some children, we were discussing it the other day, some children are hyper emotional and some children are hypo emotional. So we want to be able to communicate in a positive, mindful, gentle, calming and way. And that was the result. Music with Hannah Jane was created. But we've been so blessed because the actual songwriters and producers and musicians are going to be doing a deep dive each week of the first 8 weeks of Solve. And they are going to show us, our members, how they wrote those songs, how they recorded the vocals, what the riffs are, the little middle 8 of the song, or the killer riff, or the chorus. And they're going to show us how they play those songs, different items, different chords. They're going to show us how they record the vocals. They're going to talk to us about music being, you know, what their lives have been about, the songs they've written. It's going to be such an amazing part of Soul that these children would just never, and their families, would never ever have access to teams like this or musicians like this. These are top song arrangers. They've written some of the hit songs of defining our lives of the last 30 years. So for us to have access with these arrangers and songwriters and producers it's unprecedented. So we're going to have such amazing times. The first 8 weeks are going to be pretty radical. I'm really looking forward to it.
Point out that we have artists for this program. We have Hannah Jane in the handwriting programs. We have Steve Beckles-Abusier, who was talking about motivation. And we talked earlier in another video today about how it's so important to replace the negativity that comes into our lives, either from the news or from other people or from our own selves, to replace all that with new truths and new positivity and new hope. Yes. And songs are a great way to do that.
Yes, especially having these positive affirmations. You can print them out, you can stick them all over the house, have them everywhere, and every day make those your positive affirmations and repeat them as your mantras for the day, and that will help. And then we have dancing with Hannah Jane. Hannah Jane is going to be showing the children a dance. Every single song she's going to be devising a dance to, and we are going to have some top dance teachers, dance instructors, give us some dance warm-ups, some methods of how to do particular moves. And this is going to be a lovely, lovely program just to round off all of the moves. Because if you're going to sing, you need to be able to move. And that's one of the things I can't do. But to be able to move with the music, stretch with the music, and to build that core stamina and that skill. I mean, if you look at that little video clip there with Hannah Jane, that's where she's out with one of her dance teachers. And they are outside where our horses used to be. And they're just dancing, just moving to the music, having those specific core strengthening skills. So it's almost like it's just dancing yoga.
And it can even be done in a socially distanced method. I mean, you can
absolutely, yes.
Apart from someone and still enjoying the fun and laughter.
That's right. That's right.
All right.
Wild Planet Explorers. We went up to Scotland last week to film Joanna McFarlane delivering Wild Planet Explorers Juniors and Wild Planet Explorers Kids. Juniors is for children aged 3 to 9. Kids is 9 to 17. Joanna McFarlane is one of the world's leading conservationist, environmentalist, and biologists. And she's been sponsored over the past few years to deliver this incredible training to schools in Scotland. And we were very lucky because I convinced her to let us have her training. And I said, would you do these deep dives for the first 8 weeks with all of our members? And she said, but we had to go all the way up to Scotland, and we filmed these, and these are going to be ready, all part of Solve. They are incredible, incredible lessons. There's nothing like them. And Joanna guides us through the biology of climate change, of sustainability, of adaptation, what's happening in the sea, what's happening on land, how animals are going extinct, why they're going extinct, how we can make a difference. It's an amazing, we're still talking. I mean, more than a week later, John and I are still going, oh, did you know that? So we learned more while we were filming these, and these are now going to be made available within Soul. Parents.
And I love that it connects movement with learning.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, you and I, we watched a lesson with Joanna. I've never, ever seen a lesson like that, never. I was jumping up and down like a big kid. We've got gardening with Hannah Jane. Hannah Jane is going to show you how, even if you are like her, she's an urban homesteader. So Hannah Jane doesn't have a garden, but she shows you how you can even get an old wooden pallet and convert it into a stand-up box that you can grow vegetables in all year round. And she's going to show you how to plant the seeds, how to prepare your soil, how to find equipment online for free if you're struggling to get yourself the equipment. I'm amazed. I mean, she's got herself a greenhouse for free. But she's going to show you how to do your seed. She's going to give you some tips on sustainability, on permaculture, and there's nothing like it. When you're in the garden and you're busy creating, I mean, you can even plant seeds and put them on your windowsill. You do not need a big garden. You do not, it's just about understanding, and she guides you through the process of why we need to look after the soil. It's after what we've learned with Joanna McFarlane, how many, what's going on with the microbes in the soil, about the earthworms, the insects, why we mustn't destroy them, why we need to look after them, how important they are.
I think that's really key, because we need to make sure that we expand how people look, not just at themselves and what they're feeling right now, but maybe looking outside themselves. And just like Successful Scissors is a multi-sensory experience, so is this one, because you have to, deal with sensations like soil and water, and the soil and water touching each other, and and getting your hands dirty, or grading the activity so that they can get used to it and maybe dig a little bit more each day and watch things grow. So it's a little gratification. You get to see what your efforts have produced and have some time together. I think right now we really need to find creative ways to enjoy spending time together.
I mean, we've been amazed that just one of the boxes that Hannah Jane planted up, we've been eating salads and breakfasts and Swiss chard, and there's peas and there's beans, and our chickens that she got have been eating all the cabbage leaves. I just can't believe that one box could make that much food. It's like, wow. So she's going to be showing us all of that, and how you can make little changes and grow your own food. You can even grow something hydroponically inside your house. No soil, just water. So she's going to be showing you all of that. She's going to be giving you examples of what you can be doing, some ideas, where to get the kit, why you use it, and the science behind it and the biology behind it. And it's going to be a really interesting one. And then we've got Get Media Savvy for Kids. Now, Get Media Savvy for Kids was originally a course that was created for adults. It was created by a lady called Claire Winter, and it was Get Media Savvy. It was to teach absolutely anybody how to write a press release, how to promote yourself and do your own PR. But we were trialing it with a family in America, and the son turned around and said, I'm sure this lady knows what she's talking about, but I'd prefer to learn from Hannah Jane. Thank you very much. So we took that on board, and we asked Hannah Jane, would she mind filming this entire program for children, which she did. She's filmed it for us, but she's included 4 case studies of her own. She's going to show the children how to write a press release, how to put together a press kit, how to manage and reach out to the press. And she does this. I'm amazed, Denise. Hannah Jane has registered with a particular Facebook group. And well, she got me to register, and she connects, she goes through the feed, the shout outs every day, and she says, oh, here we go, can you get hold of this journalist, please, and send them a direct message or email them? And I'm like, why? She says, because we're going to do an article for them. Just reach out. And I'm like, okay, they're never going to talk to us. Just reach out. So there was one that she reached out to about 3 weeks ago, and they ended up coming back a week later saying, oh, that's really interesting, Hannah Jane. Would you be interested in doing a Zoom of this? And Hannah Jane got onto the BBC, and her little slot was being viewed like 20,000 times each minute. And I just said, how did you do that, Hannah Jane? And she just said, it's Get Media Savvy, Mom. It's like, you want to promote your cause, your initiative. And she got herself and her dad into the Guardian newspaper as well with her chickens, her lockdown chickens. I just, you know, if she can do that after learning from Get Media Savvy, I'm looking forward to seeing what these children are going to do, how they're going to promote their own social entrepreneurships, their initiatives, their passions, their projects, fundraising that they're interested in, promote their schools, promote, I don't know, there's going to be all sorts of things that these children are, and their parents are going to be able to do. They'll be able to use this knowledge, this skill. It's life-changing.
And it's really important because with traditional jobs not surviving the pandemic, we need children to be able to think, you know, far outside the box and to be able to create their own opportunities and create their own networking. Absolutely. And be able to adapt and bounce back from challenges and to turn every challenge that they face into an opportunity that they never would have imagined otherwise.
No, I'm quite amazed by what you learn, what I've learned. I have learned a huge amount while doing this, just this one here. It has been a game changer. I mean, you remember, you and I used all of the principles of Get Media Savvy when we launched our Educate Global program. Now, you and I are two mums who launched Educate Global from our kitchen tables, and we've had some of the biggest media PR people look at what we achieved in the press, and they just said, you out-Saatchi'd Saatchi and Saatchi's. Now, as part of Get Media Savvy, there is a gentleman called Keith Grinstead, and Keith is an incredible media expert, and he has written tons of books. So there's a whole list of his ebooks that he's written all about promoting yourself on Facebook, LinkedIn, Twitter, YouTube, everything you can imagine. Now, Keith is going to be doing the deep dives each week for the first 8 weeks of Solve. He's going to be doing those media makeovers once a week, and he's going to be promoting and preparing the parents with their version of Get Media Savvy. And he's also going to support and go deeper into the subject with the children. So he'll be doing a deep dive once a week with the older members of Solve, the parents, and then once a week he's going to be doing a deep dive with the children. And then he's also going to be doing that member media makeover. So he will, one lucky member will put their name down on our Facebook group, and they will put a question to Keith, and he will go, I like that question. He'll choose you and do a Zoom with you, which will be recorded for all of the other members. It's shared with everybody. And that will then go onto the Get Media Savvy area on the portal so that the members can go and see what his advice was. So maybe somebody's going to say, oh, I really want to launch a charity and I'm not sure how to do it. What would your advice be? What would the best media to promote it on be? And then Keith will give them a step-by-step strategy plan that week and say, well, here's your idea. This is what I would do. Start small, and he will give them all sorts of steps, lovely steps and tips and tricks. And that's what he does best. I mean, you know that Keith gave me an idea the other day. I used it, and I saw that there was going to be a big event in the Caribbean later this year. And I followed Keith's tips, and I emailed them and I said, look, you know, if you want a speaker, I'm available. I became a headline speaker, and they're paying for me to go to the Caribbean. And I'm like, Keith, your tips, they are awesome. They really do work. So, you know, if he can do that for you and I, then I can't wait to see what he's going to do for our Solve members. What we got next, Denise?
We're going to be able to have members who can choose to wake up and be curious as to what they're going to learn and find today. You know, what's going to be something unusual or unexpected.
So is this our mini yoga? This was created by Fiona Cowan. And she said, right, she wanted to be able to get the mindfulness whilst working through core stamina. And mini yoga is amazing for children. It is the lessons have Arben, which is Fiona's son, showing the children the different yoga moves that she's chosen. There is a mindfulness area in each session where they do yoga breathing, and they have a particular music that they listen to in each one. It is a lovely, lovely program. And once a week, Fiona will do an instruction, a deep dive with the families, with the members, and explain why she's done a particular move, what that achieves, what those programs, and how they use mini yoga in her schools. It's a lovely program. I can't wait for you to see it. It's gorgeous.
And I love the grown-up yoga I've been able to do, and I wish that I had learned yoga younger. Luckily, my son enjoys doing a couple of poses here and there, and it's so fun. That's my son right there. It's so fun to be able to learn from your child, laugh with your child, and just try something new with your child. And then your child can see you're trying, you're falling, you're getting back up.
So this is your signature program, Denise. This is your Crosslinks program, which is normally delivered in SEN schools, in schools with children with special education needs. But it doesn't just have to be for children. And this, I mean, I use it. I've used Crosslinks, you know. I mean, the Crosslinks is to minimize aggressive and violent outbursts. I mean, you've helped me arrest my amygdala. You know, when I want to have an outburst, I stop and I think, oh, hang on, what would Denise say or do? No, I need to sleep on it. And then you always, the next day, we have a chat about it and you go, good job, well done. And I say to you, yeah, but you know, the only reason I've done that is because you taught me with Crosslinks.
Well, Crosslinks is about, you have to grow by interacting. So if you think about kneading bread, you're pushing the ingredients together, and then when they're interacting together, then you're letting them rest and expand. That's where the growth occurs, and that's how it's called Crosslinks. And so that's how it is. You know, if I was to be at home alone, yeah, I might be at rest, but I wouldn't be growing and learning and laughing at things that I just can't make up. I mean, my children make up the funniest things, as does Hannah Jane, and I'm sure parents out there have children who they can just make them laugh because we just don't think that way right now because we're older and we don't have the same exposure to what they're exposed to nowadays with the online world, but they're still able to keep their own perspective grounded, and it's just kind of fun to explore. So this is also a thank you to all the educators, specialists who helped me survive the early days of autism and outbursts. And there are many stories. I will not go into them today, but my goal was to create peaceful moments for the parents and the teachers, because if I'm an occupational therapist and I have 30 years experience, and I still, you know, a few years ago found myself in the bathroom crying because I just was at wit's end, like, how do I stop this, you know, destructive pattern of behavior? And I can only control his neurons to a certain extent. And I really did a lot of soul searching and researching. And I have been doing researching for a very long time, but I finally put the foot down and said, okay, time to make a system. No more trying, seeing if it fails, see if it works. No, I'm going to put a system in place. We're going to run it and we're going to see what happens. And literally the outbursts has stopped. And luckily I've been able to present this to schools and SEN groups, and really is an act of love for me, myself, and for others. And I'm really happy to share this with you guys in the membership.
That's fantastic. I mean, I know that Emma, occupational therapists in America love Crosslinks because it just fits in with everything that they work with every day. Senkos, parents, carers, but it's not just for those parents with children with autism or learning difficulties. It is for everybody to have those.
Because if you think about it, the parents and the children who are at home, you know, abruptly because of the pandemic, they're finding themselves in panic mode for quite a good portion of the day. So any fear that they may have had, any anxiety is all at the surface. And now we had to be hunkered down in our houses. We couldn't even let off steam and go to the beach or anything. So Melanie and I, we want you, because we're fortunate, you know, there are just some things in life you just have to be thankful for. And one of them is meeting Mel. And together, when we power partner, you can borrow our bandwidth. I mean, you can literally rely on us as support, because we discovered throwing a course out there is one thing, but being the support system live, even on recorded video or in face chats or messenger groups, the lifeline is really important, because if we're all isolated, we need to be networking. And by the way, Melanie is the leading network person I've ever known. So we want you to leverage our bandwidth, our expertise, our experience, our insights, and our joy. We've managed to keep our joy through all the challenges. And we want you to be able to transform painful obstacles into peaceful opportunities, because if you imagine the quality of interactions with your child, especially during these challenging times and social distance and isolation and school closures and business closures, wouldn't it be nice to just rely on a system that's been proven? Just like the handwriting programs that she's created, that Mel's created, have been proven by data. It's one less decision you have to make. You know, will it work? Will it not work? And
there's nothing in Solve that has not been proven already. Nothing. Right.
And they're all on video with experts, ourselves, the people we work with. It's not just us off the top of our head. Just
no, we've not just grabbed any old thing and shoved it in. This is not one of those memberships at all. It's not, we haven't just gone and gone, oh, you'll just get something out of a lucky packet. No, most of the programs we've created ourselves, and anything that we've curated and brought in, we've brought in for a reason, because it enhances everything that we have.
And it has to go through a vetting process as well.
Yes, we did, there was a program that we wanted to add, and we just looked at it and said, it's not ready. It was a great program, but we just said it's not ready for us. In a year's time, it may be ready when the developers and it has to be proven, and that was a proven program. It just wasn't ready for Solve.
Right.
But we've nailed this down and added everything in that we wanted for our own children, and what we were noticing teachers were asking for and parents were asking for. You know,
so it has 6 modules, and each module has 5 steps in it. It combines my professional experience as an occupational therapist, my personal experience as a mom, and it also, I included my son's very first teacher when we moved from the United States to the United Kingdom. And literally I felt like I was thrown to the wolves in a new culture. I couldn't understand the accent over the phone. I couldn't understand how to order things online, because if I asked for anything, typed in something to order, that wasn't even an option. Like, you can't say Q-tip, it has to be cotton bud. I mean, the littlest things would trip you up, and they add up over time. So Gabriella Heinrich asked me if I could create and then present a system to help deal with the outburst that my son was having in her classroom. So she had been the director of the Derek Roberts Center at the school, but Adam was the first one to have outbursts. Funny enough, bringing the American and liven things up a little bit. So after we created and presented this information to her class, she was able to get the staff on board, and lo and behold, it worked so well that other parents were somehow hearing about it. And then, you know, when the council kind of says your child goes here, your child goes there, well, actually the parents were speaking up and saying our child will be going to the Derek Roberts Center. And all of a sudden her classroom was like over capacity with really challenging people. And so it became a thing where if you want to have good classroom experience for your child who has special needs, you send them to her classrooms. The other thing is that the mainstream portion of the classroom, those kids were being sent down by the teachers to the SEN unit just to get some behavior approaches. And then they found out that the children going through our crosslinks and all the other qualities that the program had itself would go back to the mainstream more well-behaved than the mainstream kids. So it was just a mutual transformation all around, and I was very excited about that. Because it could have been a very short story. Well, we went to school, we bombed, we left. But we decided to stick it out, figure out a way, because I knew that if I was having trouble, there were definitely other parents. I hope that there was someone else who could relate to what I was going through. I couldn't imagine I have the only outburst child on the planet. So that is Gabriella Heinrich there with me. And that was a few years ago we recorded it. I've also since discovered that I'm intolerant to gluten. And so there were issues that were battling within me, not to mention outside of me. So luckily, with the people I've met in the UK, I've been able to manage my health, manage my son's health, and manage the health of other parents and their children. So it's a multimedia presentation. We include videos, we include PDFs, we include an ebook, and I'm an occupational therapist, like I mentioned, American trained, but I've been keeping my certification up since moving here. And it is a huge thank you to any educator who's out there, any parent who's out there. Just keep going. And I hope that you really will enjoy this program. All right, let's go down to the next one and see how calm he is. That picture is
You've even taken Adam on trips, on train trips.
Yes, train trips to do conference work, not just for visiting family. He's actually gone to work with me. He's so calm, and he can handle when the train gets shut down and we have to wait for a few hours and it's all hot and sticky and crowded. But now, of course, it's not. But back before COVID, it was. So yeah, it's amazing the doors that can open once you stabilize and then mobilize. So then we also, again, back to Fiona Cowan and introducing us the opportunity to speak at the Head Teacher Conference. And I give an overview of the 6 modules. They do focus on calming the combative child, but it can also be, and we can create this later on, calming the combative colleague, calming the combative whoever. And it's all about you being the point of healing and the point of positive response and role modeling excellence, because you can only control yourself, but when you control yourself, the effect rubs off on others. So that is a masterclass that I present, and it's a good overview. And then we had a spin-off similar to Successful Scissors, was a spin-off with the Mini Bees pre-handwriting. we have the Lego Mindfulness. Now, tell them how you discovered or created this title.
Oh, this is a bit naughty though. Should I tell them?
Well, we had to do, you needed to do something creative that hadn't been done before. So my son is obsessed with Lego, and I was getting involved with mindfulness. And I think Fiona Callan wanted something to do with mindfulness because she's very, you know.
She called me up and she said, Mel, can you come and do a talk on mindfulness? And I said, no, that's not my bag. I said, that's Denise. Denise is the one that can calm the combative child, really, with her Crosslinks program. And she said, oh, but it's only 1 hour. And I said, oh, I've got a great idea. Denise does an amazing program called Lego Mindfulness. And I phoned you up and I said, you're doing a talk to 350 head teachers. And you said, really? What's it on? I said, Lego Mindfulness. You said to me, I don't have a course called Lego Mindfulness. I said, you do now.
That's how we roll here. That's the thing about working with someone else, is that you can be inspired to do stuff you never would think about.
I've lost you.
You would get inspired when you meet somebody else. So I've been lucky to meet Mel, and she brings out all kinds of stuff in me.
I hope it's the best.
It is the best. It is the best. So my son is, like I said, obsessed with Legos. Personally, I find them very challenging. I was like, oh my gosh, how am I going to make this a positive experience for parents who are, you know, dealing with Lego bits everywhere? But luckily, I was working with a graduate student at Swansea University, Ellen Burrows, and she was in the psychology department. And she was very willing to help out with the research on the mindfulness and combining it with Legos for me. So
I mean, it's just amazing how everything just slotted into place there.
yeah,
because
just like Legos.
you just knew her, and she said, oh, I've been doing research on this. I've got all of this information, and you just went, oh, that's lovely. May I use it in a new course? Right.
So
right.
in a nutshell, the Lego Mindfulness Program is about building with Lego, using the principles of the brick building, the construction play, and then that gives them the three-dimensional, the tactile, the visual, the flip the piece over and see what's underneath. And it's really great for things like academics, but it's also great for social. And I think what I would love to do right now is to use it for how to re-enter the school building, because you can simulate ahead of time, you can practice what your Lego character will do when he has to turn a corner, be, you know, socially distanced, wear a mask, go to the bathroom more than he thought he ever had to wash hands, or deal with soap dispensers everywhere, or maybe if they stagger the day, like some of his friends might not be in that class that they always used to be. He might not be able to sit in his favorite desk or her desk. So I think what we're going to do is keep on evolving and adapting. And these are great things that we can do at our deep dives. We can address the issues based on what we have right now in place.
Yeah.
So let me see if I can find Ellen here. There she is. So she did graduate. She used the Lego Mindfulness, and then the other part of Crosslinks, when she did a pilot study of the teacher-parent communication booklet, which is based on the tips and tricks I developed in the Crosslinks, and she was able to use that for her project for graduation. So this has been studied in schools, SDN schools, and at university level, which I'm kind of proud about. I'm really happy. So again, it took, you know, years to make that and to get it up and running, but it's here and so excited. So do you want to go to the next one now?
That's our Get Media Savvy. We've already spoken. That's our parents version. That's our the adults version of Get Media Savvy, and that's delivered by Claire Winter. She's the lady. She's a PR specialist and a media specialist, and she created the Get Media Savvy course. So it's all there. but that will be supported in the first 8 weeks by Keith Grinstead. He's going to be doing the deep dives with our parents. It's all on there. Got to go and have a look at it. What's next? Oh, and we had a Facebook Live this morning with Steve Beckles-Abusier.
That was amazing.
Don't believe everything you think. That was interesting.
It was really interesting.
Yeah.
I learned a lot just in talking to him and listening to him.
So Steve is one of the top life skills and motivational speakers in the world, and he speaks all over in colleges, schools, universities, even for business events and parties and functions. But his training is absolutely superb. But I think the beauty of having Steve with us is that we have him once a week with our parents and our children. And he also is going to be doing those member makeovers, member motivational makeover once a week with one lucky Solve member. And don't forget, those are all going to be recorded, and we will add those so that if you miss anything at all, you can go back and refer back to those lessons and videos and sessions for the next year. You can grow and learn with this content and this material. We will be supporting it for a year, but the deep dives are the first 8 weeks. That's just to really hone in and get everybody, kicked off on a.
And I learned a lot in the 30 minutes we had with him. I can't imagine a deep dive.
I'm so looking forward to it.
So in summary, we
can't have all of the programs up on our main information page. There are more than 30 programs that are on there. This is where you're going to be going. So once you've signed up to Solve, you will give us your delivery address. We will send you your very own one-to-one handwriting kit with an assessment booklet. We will assess your child online together with you. We will give you, your child will have their very own personal handwriting strategy. Every program in Solve is here on this one portal. It's our Harvard Education portal, everything. And we will even be including 5 to 6 of the Educate Global, those UN courses, so that your children, if they want to, can get a UN certificate, a United Nations accredited certificate. So that's all on our portal there. We've got tons of stuff. There's nothing like it. We can't wait for you to join us. You're going to be having access to occupational therapists, musicians, arrangers, producers, award-winning biologists, environmentalists, authors, head teachers, teachers. I've probably forgotten half of the people that included. But there's so much. I mean, there's actually so much in the Summer Online Learning Village experience that you're not going to be able to do all of it in the first 8 weeks. You're not going to be able to get engaged with everything. You're going to choose what you feel is going to be the most enticing and exciting for you. And you can come back over the next year to everything else. You will have a 1-year access. Now, that's it, we totally forgot. When Denise and I created our Educate Global program, our Harvard Education stuff, our Start B program, and now Solve, Denise said, I want to make sure that ordinary parents and individuals can make money presenting and becoming influencers and recommending our programs. So what she did was she created an affiliate program for Solve. So you can actually go onto any of our pages, click on the Learn to Earn, sign up to become an affiliate for Solve, and there is a 20% commission if anybody buys or signs up using your affiliate link you can earn up to £600 per sign up. So we even do a training of how to be an affiliate, which we can add for you. We can email you access to that. You can join our, Denise created an affiliate training program, which is on Facebook and is an online program as well, because some people may not understand what affiliate marketing is. It's just being an influencer. You're an online influencer. You refer your friends, your family, anybody that's online with you to a link that you have, and if they purchase from that link, you get a commission.
Right, and then this is a way that you can do it naturally as part of your day. You don't have to do anything really extra. If once you get that little bug in your ear that someone needs help, you can send them an email, you can send them a message, and it's just a way to serve your community and help someone who's, you know, ready and willing to go. So I'm super excited that we have a chance to meet people, because I think when you network with others, I'm an introvert, so it takes someone like Melanie to get me to network. But so I watch her and I see that she gets to meet exciting people. I'm like, I want to do that. So it's really cool to be able to serve people that you know, and then maybe serve someone else that you don't quite know yet, but then you get to know them, and then they get to become your friends and your circle of friends. And one of the things I was reading about the lockdown was that we used to have a larger sphere of influence of people that we could see either more casually or maybe randomly, but now we don't even have that. So it's a good chance to just start right where you are on your phone. You know, you're just killing some time, or you have to wait for something, or you have lost your normal routine. This is a way to jumpstart a routine that has some excitement and some fun involved. And it gives you a good reason to wake up in the morning.
I mean, we've got all of the, when you do sign up to become an affiliate, we've got all of the links are there for you. The how-tos, you can just post your affiliate link on your LinkedIn with a LinkedIn post. You just don't know where it goes. It just goes out into the ether and it spreads globally, and somebody clicks on it, and if they sign up, you get that commission. I love, do you know, Denise, we always said this in the last 2 years, if you and I could go back to when we started, if you and I could go back to the very beginning, before we learned how to build memberships and build campaigns and build courses, you and I said that we would never ever have done that. We would have learned how to be affiliates first. If we could have learned that first, it would have made such a difference to our experience, I think. If it's the one thing that the gurus, those big online gurus, just do not teach you. If we'd have learned how to be an affiliate first, it would have been life-changing, because I think it would have helped us to achieve things so much sooner. We would have been able to learn from other sales campaigns and online courses. We could have been an affiliate. We would have made lots of money. We could have used that money to build our courses sooner, get our teams up and running. We did it the other way around. We funded it all ourselves, and then we discovered affiliate, referrals and online influencers helping you with a launch. It's that one secret that the big gurus just do not share, and I wished we'd learned that. So that's what we love.
Our intentions were always in the right place.
And, for us, we just I want to make sure that things are really tough at the moment, and it's just one affiliate link that can go onto your social media. You just don't know where it goes. And if somebody signs up, you get £600. So it's a no-brainer. I wish that
one of our things is I'm an occupational therapist who was, devoted to having a career. And because of my son's autism, I found myself more and more at home working part-time, then PRN, which is just as needed, and then moving overseas, working not at all. And I'm sorry, but I wasn't built that way. I wasn't built to stay at home all the time and not be out with other people. Even though I'm an introvert, I still wanted to be out there because my mom was a nurse. I was always exposed to being in a nursing home and greeting the patients who are just, sitting there. And you might be the one bright spot for that day for that person. And so this is another way of doing it, is online, or you can write the information on a piece of paper for somebody if you meet them at the park quickly. I don't know, you can be creative. And one of the things that Mel and I learn from is the people that are working with us. And so we don't know everything, we just really try hard. And we love learning something new every single day. And we look forward to learning from you and hearing your stories and getting your input. And if you're an expert, maybe, we can interview you. We're thinking about doing a virtual summit, correct?
Yeah, we would love to have a virtual summit with some of our members, delivering training themselves, whatever they've got, whatever we inspire, or if they've got an idea that we can spark. We'd like to bring in some other specialists, and even some of the specialists that are involved in Solve. We'd love to do a really amazing live online summit that, so we're going to find out the questions that keep being asked by parents, carers, tutors, teachers. We're going to find out what those questions are, and we can then do that summit. I'm sure there are things that people would love to learn, but they, maybe those courses aren't there. I mean, I know that something that is really important to me is Hannah Jane has started a new program called Business 101 for kids, entrepreneurship, how to be an entrepreneur. And it's just basics, how to open a bank account as a kid, how to write a business plan, how to set up a business with no money, how to start making money instantly with no money. So that's what children need, those life skills. They need, some of them just want to get earning. They want to start making their own pocket money, So we cannot wait. We've got to say that you buy one and you gift one.
That's correct.
For every member that we have, you will be getting a one-to-one handwriting kit, but you will also be gifting a one-to-one handwriting kit to a school. And that school will be using that one-to-one handwriting kit with a child that would otherwise not be able to afford that kit. So we know that schools are already struggling with budgets, and they're struggling with raising the funding that they need. So what we did this week was Denise and I and Fiona Cowan, we gave our handwriting assessment training to every school in the United Kingdom. And that was a gift worth £47 million. And we know that those schools are going to need those one-to-one handwriting kits to be delivering those interventions. So every single Solve member will effectively be donating a gift to a school. You're going to be donating a one-to-one handwriting kit to a school so that they can work with those children that are vulnerable or really need help.
So I'm just going to show a quick step. You just click on that button, it takes you to the page where you can enter your details. And our mission, like we said before, is to close the gap between those who have a ton and those who have none. And we are putting our best foot forward with the gift, buy one, gift one. And the freebies are on this page. That way you can at least get something going in your life today, whether it's a little tip or a little trick, or that there is hope out there. There is Hannah Jane out there. And experts from university level all the way down to preschool level. We can all learn from each other. And I'm just really excited to be a part of this. And thank you, Mel, for creating this ride.
Well, Denise, you're the one that created Solve. You're the one that's been working like a Trojan the last few months. I don't know how you've done it. I'm amazed. I don't know. I just remember seeing Denise has been working through the night, 2 a.m., 3 a.m. What's she doing? So you've been like a woman possessed, Denise.
When you have children, when you give them undivided attention time, it gives you time to step away from your work, and then you can think clearly about your work. And then when you go to do your work, you can think clearly and come back energized for your child. So it's just a back and forth, and it's a balance. And I'm really grateful to have that balance right now.
Thank
And
you
now we can
so
share with
very
you.
much, everybody. We can't wait for you to join us. We have tons of stuff for you. We have the additional learning experience of learning experiences. And your children are going to love it, and you are going to love it, and we hope that you join us. And for those of you that want to turn this into a business, we can't wait. We'll see you all next time. Bye bye then. Bye.
Appreciate it.